South African Local Government Association KwaZulu-Natal chairperson Thami Ntuli joins us now to discuss some of these issues. A very good evening to you, and thank you so much for speaking to us, Mr. Ntuli.
Good evening to yourself and to the viewers, and thank you for having us at SALGA in KwaZulu-Natal.
Perhaps let's just first start with the last issue that I mentioned, that of the cost of procurement of school fees. I think it's a national issue, particularly at this time. I was just actually listening to my family member tell me about the cost that they have to pay for a very young boy in terms of preschool levels, the cost thereof. What are the average prices for these schools, and which quintiles are we looking at in terms of levels?
Well, as SALGA in KwaZulu-Natal, we're making a call with an understanding that we have so many children who drop out of school or who could not register or even start a year because of the economic crisis that we're faced with in our province in particular, or the country at large. Making a call to municipalities, encouraging them to have programs of back to school wherein they would be supporting with the uniforms, shoes, and the clothes, which is used by students when they go to school, even for some intervention in terms of supporting school fees, whereas children are expected to pay as school fees. You know that most of the municipalities in KwaZulu-Natal, they've started a program of the bursary registration program where in those who are going to tertiary institution, they will be receiving some funds from local government. And we're saying that in view of the fact that we know that on average, a student have to spend, or a parent have to spend almost more than 1,000 rand to ensure that a child has a uniform in order to go to school, let alone the issue of schools that are seen to be offering better results, wherein you find that there are some expenses which are incurred by the parents, because not in each and every school wherein you find children having to access basic education for free. Like when you go to some schools, private schools, they are expected to pay a lot of money, and that deprives some of the children, the parents in the province of KwaZulu-Natal to access that quality education. Hence, we are making the call that a local government also has a role in assisting those parents. And again, we also made a call that even
Perhaps
for the issues
allow me to jump in there. Mr. Ntuli, allow me to jump in there, because you are going on a bit and I need to locate this very issue. You say local government needs to be able to assist or intervene. Now, in the case where we're speaking about private schools, because those are the ones that I know are often very insistent on particular distributors, and even down to specifying the type of garments or even shoes and even sports paraphernalia that children are supposed to buy. How would local government intervene in those cases, given the school governing bodies from private schools are also very territorial and very aware of their rights?
In fact, the engagement between those schools, even the school governing bodies, between the municipalities where the schools are located, that we encourage that local producers should be given preference, and trying to forge the relationship between those who are making uniform amongst the members of the community, so that then they will be able to actually be part of the program that those schools are actually using. In fact, we need not to turn a blind eye that since some have monopolized the supply to those private schools, then we must then ignore. Whereas we understand that we are facing this economic crisis, and we have people in our communities that are able to make a uniform then whom if we can assisted to work with whichever school, they will be able at least to help boost the local economy. That is what we believe in, and also in terms of supporting financially, where in a student or a parent cannot afford to take a child to that school, we are then making a call that not only for those who are going to tertiary institutions should be supported, but we also need to also understand the drop rate which is there at the basic education level, which is worrisome to us as SALGA, and that is why we're making such a call.
Mr. Ntuli, shouldn't what we be asking for as citizens, and I'm lending from my own experience, although, I mean, we're going back 20 years ago, but I know the problem is still as acute as now. For instance, the school that I went to sometimes wouldn't even allow parents to buy a second-hand uniform. And we know that the buying power of a lot of parents in these communities, these municipalities, has deteriorated a lot over the years. So shouldn't we be ensuring that governments really starts providing quality public education instead of focusing on private education and these stipulations that they came up with?
Well, in fact, that is all what we aspire. That even public schools should be able to, since some they are, when you look at the results, we have schools in deep rural areas such as Bismarck High School, which is well known in the whole of South Africa for the wonderful results, and so many other high schools. And we believe that when we still have a situation wherein parents will see a particular school being able to provide quality results, and the school is the closest to where the parents lives, and they cannot afford, and then they require some assistance. We are therefore calling upon a local government to also consider those at a basic education level. That is actually our focus.
And just has there been a meeting with some of these schools that have been called to try and dissuade them from these practices? Because I know reports have actually said categorically in the past that there is some corruption involved, that money is changing hands with school authorities who are insistent on only certain distributors.
In fact, I think our call as SALGA in the province of KwaZulu-Natal is also bringing some kind of an alert or an awareness to the different communities that for the schools in their areas, they should have that ownership. Hence, the local government should be able to assist them so that they have some engagement that will allow, in fact, the schools to also consider those who are suing locally, not only to focus to those bigger shops or to monopolize to those who are also well established. Because our call, it goes as far as understanding that some of the municipalities are really having wonderful programs where they even empower those who are producing the uniform with trainings, and they even procure for them the machines that they are using. Everything that they use, they normally support them. We have that kind of an understanding. Hence, we are saying, as we will be opening the schools, we are making a call that they must make it a priority, that we support really those parents, and we support those who are producing locally.
So while in the meantime you are developing skills, you are creating employment as well, and of course reducing the costs for education, especially for communities that are in need. Thank you very much for your time and sharing your insights on that. The South African Local Government Association, KwaZulu-Natal chairperson Thami Ntuli.